The jungle was too quiet. Sergeant Marcus Chen knew this wasn't normal. He held up his fist and the 5 soldiers behind him stopped moving. They all listened carefully. The trees around them were tall and dark green. Strange blue flowers grew on the branches. This was planet Kepler 442b, and humans had been fighting aliens here for 3 years. Marcus looked through his rifle scope. The trees ahead seemed normal, but something felt wrong. He had been a soldier for 10 years. He trusted his feelings about danger. "Contact front," whispered Private Torres behind him. She had good eyes. Marcus looked where she pointed. There, between 2 large trees, something moved. It was tall and thin, with skin that looked like purple glass. A Zephyrian, the Zephyrians were the enemy. They had 4 arms and stood 12 feet tall. Their skin could change colors when they got angry or scared. Humans called them crystal bugs because they looked like giant insects made of colored glass. Marcus spoke quietly into his radio. "Base, this is Recon Team 7. We have enemy contact. About 600 meters from the mining station. Copy, Recon 7. Do not engage unless fired upon. We need information, not a fight." Marcus nodded to his team. They spread out and moved forward slowly. The alien moved again. Then Marcus saw there were more of them. At least 4 Zephyrians were hiding in the trees. They had weapons that shot bright blue energy bolts. Suddenly, one of the aliens saw Torres. It made a high-pitched sound like metal scraping metal. That was how Zephyrians talked to each other. The sound meant humans here. "Take cover!" Marcus shouted. Blue energy bolts flew through the air. The aliens' weapons made a humming sound when they fired. One bolt hit a tree near Marcus and burned a hole right through it. These weapons were dangerous. Marcus and his team fired back. Human bullets sparked against the aliens' armor. The Zephyrians were smart fighters. They used the trees for cover and moved fast. The fight went on for several minutes. Nobody was hurt yet, but that could change quickly. Marcus tried to get his team to move around the alien side. He wanted to attack them from a different angle. While he moved, Marcus saw something that made him stop. Behind the aliens, there was a strange building. It looked like it was made of the same glass-like material as Zephyrian skin. The building was round and about as big as a house. But what caught Marcus's attention were the small movements inside. Through the clear walls, he could see tiny figures moving around. They were small, maybe the size of 3-year-old human children. But they had the same glass-like skin as adult Zephyrians. These were young aliens. Marcus realized this was a nursery. The adult Zephyrians were protecting their children. The battle got worse. Private Johnson threw a grenade at the aliens. But the throw was bad. Instead of landing near the adult Zephyrians, the grenade flew toward the building with the young ones. Time seemed to slow down for Marcus. He saw the grenade flying through the air. He saw the small aliens inside the building. They didn't know what was coming. They couldn't protect themselves. Marcus didn't think. He just moved. He ran as fast as he could toward the building. His legs pumped hard. His heart beat fast. The grenade was falling. He had maybe 3 seconds before it would explode. Marcus reached the building and threw himself against the clear wall. His body covered as much of the wall as possible. The young aliens inside looked up at him with big, confused eyes. They had never seen a human before. The grenade exploded. The blast was loud and hot. Pieces of metal hit Marcus's back and legs. His armor cracked. Pain shot through his body like fire, but his body absorbed most of the explosion. The wall behind him had small cracks, but it didn't break. The young aliens inside were safe. Marcus fell to the ground. His vision was blurry. He could taste blood in his mouth. His left leg felt broken. Through the pain, he heard something strange. The shooting had stopped. He looked up and saw the adult Zephyrians standing around him. Their skin was flashing different colors quickly. This meant they were very confused or shocked. One of them, taller than the others, walked closer to Marcus. This alien had 4 arms and skin that changed from purple to silver. It carried a weapon, but the weapon was pointed down. The alien made sounds that Marcus didn't understand, but the sounds were not angry. They sounded confused. Marcus tried to sit up, but the pain was too much. He looked at his team. Torres and the others had their guns ready, but they weren't shooting. They were as confused as the aliens. The tall alien said something to the others. They put their weapons away. Then the tall one looked down at Marcus. It made more sounds. Marcus thought it might be asking him a question. With great effort, Marcus pointed to the building behind him. He tried to say children, but only made a weak sound. The alien seemed to understand. It looked at the building, then back at Marcus. More aliens appeared from the forest. These ones were different. They wore white armor instead of the dark armor of the fighters. Marcus realized they were probably doctors or medical workers. The tall alien said something to the white-armored ones. They moved toward Marcus with strange tools that glowed softly. "Sarge," Torres called out. "What do we do?" Marcus tried to answer, but his voice was too weak. The alien doctors were doing something to him. One of them sprayed something on his wounds. The pain started to go away, but he felt very sleepy. The last thing Marcus remembered was the tall alien looking down at him. Its skin was now a soft blue color. In human terms, this might have meant the alien was thinking hard about something. Marcus woke up later in a place he didn't recognize. The walls were smooth and glowed with soft light. He was lying on something that felt like a bed, but it was made of the same clear material as Zephyrian buildings. He tried to move, but his body was weak. His wounds were covered with some kind of clear gel that made his skin feel cool. He was alive, which surprised him. A door opened and the tall alien from before walked in. It moved slowly as if it didn't want to scare Marcus. The alien said something in its strange language, then touched a device on its chest. "You wake," said a mechanical voice. The device was translating the alien's words. "You are prisoner now, but you are safe." Marcus tried to speak. His throat was dry. The children. Are they okay?" The alien's skin flashed several colors. The translation device made clicking sounds as it tried to understand. "Young ones live. You save young ones, why?" This was a question Marcus couldn't answer easily. Why had he saved alien children? They were the enemy. His job was to fight aliens, not protect them. But when he saw those young ones in danger, he didn't think about enemies or war. He just saw children who needed help. "Because they're children," Marcus said simply. The alien's skin turned a deep purple color and stayed that way for a long time. Marcus had been a prisoner for 3 days. The alien ship was unlike anything he had ever seen. The walls seemed alive, glowing with soft colors that changed throughout the day. Everything was smooth and curved. There were no sharp corners anywhere. The tall alien visited him every day. Through the translation device, Marcus learned her name was Velthari. She was what humans would call a ship captain, but the alien word meant something more like ship mother. She was responsible for everyone on the ship, like a parent caring for children. Velthari asked Marcus many questions. She wanted to understand why he had saved the young aliens. This idea was very confusing to her people. In Zephyrian way, Velthari explained through the translator, "We protect only our own blood family. You are not Zephyrian. Young ones are not your blood. Why you risk death?" Marcus found it hard to explain. How could he make an alien understand human feelings about protecting children? Any children, even enemy children? "Where I come from," Marcus said slowly, "we believe children should be protected. All children. It doesn't matter if they're human or alien." Velthari's skin changed from purple to a confused pattern of yellow and green. "This makes no sense. Children not your blood are competitors. They grow to fight your children. Why help competitors grow strong?" Marcus thought about this. Maybe to aliens it didn't make sense, but to humans it felt natural and right. "Because they're innocent," he said. "They didn't choose to be enemies. They're just children." Velthari was quiet for a long time. Her skin stayed a steady blue color, which Marcus was learning meant she was thinking very hard. The next day, Velthari brought Marcus something new. It was a small device that showed moving pictures like a human tablet computer. The pictures showed scenes from human colonies. "We study your species," Velthari said. "We try to understand human behavior. Look at this." The pictures showed human soldiers fighting against Zephyrians, but they also showed humans helping wounded aliens. In one picture, a human doctor was treating an injured Zephyrian prisoner. In another, human children were sharing food with alien refugees. "We see many examples of this strange behavior," Velthari continued. "Humans help enemies. Humans save competitors. We do not understand." Marcus looked at the pictures. He hadn't known other humans were doing things like this. It made him feel proud of his species. "Maybe that's what makes us different," Marcus said. "We help others because it's the right thing to do, not because we have to." Velthari's skin flashed through several colors quickly. The translator made more clicking sounds than usual. "Explain right thing to do," she said. This was even harder to explain. How do you describe morality to someone who has never felt it? It's a feeling inside us, Marcus said. When we see someone who needs help, something inside us says we should help them. Even if it's dangerous for us. Even if they are enemy? Even if they are enemy. Velthari was quiet for a very long time. When she spoke again, her voice sounded different through the translator. Sadder maybe. The young ones you saved, she said. They were not my blood children. They belonged to my sister of choosing, Velnari. She died fighting your people 2 seasons ago. I took responsibility for her young. Marcus felt a pain in his chest that had nothing to do with his injuries. I'm sorry. I didn't know. You saved young ones of dead enemy, Velthari said. This creates problem in Zephyrian law, ancient law. She touched her device and spoke in her own language for several minutes. The translator stayed quiet. Then she switched back to human language. There is old word in our language, very old in Belnathi. It means life debt to one who saves blood family from death. When someone saves your family, you owe them your life until debt is paid. Marcus didn't like the sound of this. I don't want anything from you. I just did what felt right. Not matter what you want, Velthari said. Her skin was now a steady deep red color. Ancient law is clear. You saved family young. I owe you Velnathi. This law is older than our current war. Older than our hatred of humans. Over the next few days, Marcus learned more about Zephyrian culture. They were very logical people. Everything they did had a clear reason. They fought humans because humans took resources that Zephyrians needed. They protected their families because families made them stronger. But they had never developed ideas about helping strangers or feeling sorry for enemies. These concepts simply didn't exist in their culture. We are taught from hatching, Velthari explained one day, that universe is hostile place. Only family can be trusted. Everyone else is competitor or enemy. To survive, we must be stronger than others. That sounds lonely, Marcus said. Velthari's skin flashed confusion colors. What is lonely? Marcus tried to explain loneliness but realized that Zephyrians might not feel it the same way humans did. They were born knowing their exact place in their family group. They never questioned if they belonged or if they were loved. Humans are different, Marcus said. We can choose our families. We can decide to care about people who aren't related to us. Sometimes we even care about people we've never met. This seems inefficient, Velthari said, but her skin colors were softer when she said it. On the 5th day, alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Velthari came to Marcus's room quickly. Her skin was flashing red and orange, which meant danger. Human ships approach, she said. Many ships. They look for you. Marcus felt worried and hopeful at the same time. His people were coming for him, which was good. But this could mean a big battle, which was bad. Also, Velthari continued, Zephyrian command sends ships. They order me to return to base immediately. They want to interrogate you, then execute you. Marcus felt his heart sink. He had hoped the life debt thing would protect him, but apparently the alien government didn't care about ancient laws. What will you do? He asked. Velthari stood very still for a long moment. Her skin went through several color changes. Finally, it settled on a color Marcus had never seen before, a deep purple with silver edges. I do not know, she said quietly. Velnathi law says I must protect you. Military law says I must surrender you for execution. Both laws are sacred to my people. I cannot obey both. The alarms got louder. Through his room's transparent wall, Marcus could see crew members running through the corridors. Everyone looked worried and confused. For the first time since his capture, Marcus realized that Velthari might be in as much trouble as he was. The ship shook as it moved through space at high speed. Marcus could feel the vibrations through the walls of his room. Velthari had decided to run from both human and Zephyrian fleets while she figured out what to do. Marcus was no longer locked in his room. Velthari said the life debt meant he was now family, and family members weren't prisoners. But there was nowhere for him to go anyway. They were on a spaceship flying through empty space. Velthari showed Marcus around the ship. It was beautiful in a strange way. Everything curved and flowed like it had grown naturally instead of being built. The walls changed colors to show the crew's moods and the ship's status. This ship is called Harmony of Deep Currents, Velthari explained as they walked through a corridor lined with living lights. She is old ship. My great-mother commanded her before me. Marcus noticed that Velthari talked about the ship like it was alive. Human ships were just machines, but this felt different. The ship seemed to respond to the crew's emotions. They passed other crew members in the corridors. All of them stared at Marcus with confusion and fear. Some of their skin colors turned dark red when they saw him, which Marcus had learned meant anger or disgust. "They do not understand why you are here," Velthari said. "Some think I have gone mad. Some think you have used human mind tricks on me." "What do you think?" Marcus asked. Velthari's skin shifted to the thinking blue color. "I think you have shown me something my people forgot long ago. Or maybe never learned." They reached a large room with a clear dome ceiling. Marcus could see stars moving past as the ship traveled. In the center of the room was a pool of glowing liquid that moved in slow patterns. "This is Memory Pool," Velthari explained. "It stores important events for teaching young ones. Watch." She touched a control, and the liquid in the pool began to form shapes. Marcus saw himself throwing his body over the alien nursery building. He watched the grenade explode and saw himself fall injured, but the view was from alien eyes and it looked different than he remembered. "This is how my people see your action," Velthari said. "To us it looks like madness. Throwing away life for non-family makes no logical sense." The scene changed. Now Marcus saw human colonies from space. But instead of the peaceful settlements he expected, these looked like military bases surrounded by weapons. "This is how we see human settlements," Velthari continued. "Always ready for war, always expanding, always taking resources we need." Marcus felt sad looking at this. He knew humans weren't just warriors, but he could understand how aliens might see them that way. "Can I show you something?" Marcus asked. Velthari's skin flashed surprise colors, but she nodded. Marcus tried to remember happy scenes from his life on Earth. He thought about children playing in parks. He thought about people helping strangers. He thought about his sister Sarah reading bedtime stories to her daughter. The pool somehow picked up his thoughts and started showing his memories. Velthari watched with skin colors that shifted rapidly between confusion and curiosity. "Humans do this?" she asked as the pool showed people helping after a natural disaster. "Help strangers with no benefit?" "All the time," Marcus said. "It makes us feel good to help others." "Feel good?" Marcus realized that Zephyrians might not understand emotions the way humans did. Their feelings seemed more tied to logic and survival. "When we help someone," Marcus explained, "something inside us feels warm and happy, even if helping costs us time or money or effort." Velthari touched the memory pool controls again. The liquid showed scenes of Zephyrian life. Marcus saw families working together perfectly like parts of a machine. Everyone knew their role and did it without question. "We feel satisfaction when we complete duties efficiently," Velthari said. "We feel security when family is safe. But this warm, happy feeling for helping strangers, this is foreign concept." Marcus watched the alien families in the pool. They seemed peaceful and organized, but somehow cold. There was cooperation but no joy. There was safety but no laughter. "Don't Zephyrians ever do things just because they want to?" Marcus asked. "Just for fun or because it feels good?" Velthari's skin went through several color changes. "What? Fun?" These words translate poorly. "We do what is necessary for survival and family success. Other actions are waste of energy." Marcus felt sorry for Velthari and her people. They seemed to have missed out on some of the best parts of being alive. "What about art? Music? Stories?" "We create memory records for teaching purposes," Velthari said. "They must be accurate and useful. But what about creating something just because it's beautiful?" Velthari was quiet for a long time. Her skin stayed the thinking blue color. "You confuse me, human Marcus," she said finally. "Your actions make no logical sense, yet they achieve results that logic cannot explain. You saved young ones for no benefit. This should be weakness. But instead it has created strength between us," Marcus nodded. "Sometimes the best things in life don't make logical sense. Love doesn't make sense. Friendship doesn't make sense. Helping others doesn't make sense. But they make life worth living. Love? Friendship?" Velthari asked. "More strange human concepts?" Marcus spent the next several hours trying to explain human emotions to Velthari. It was difficult because she had no reference point for many feelings. But she listened carefully and asked many questions. As they talked, Marcus noticed changes in Velthari. Her skin colors became softer and more varied. She asked questions about things that weren't practical or useful. She seemed curious about human experiences. "Just for the sake of understanding them, I begin to see," she said as they shared a meal of synthesized nutrients, which tasted awful to Marcus but was perfectly balanced for health. Why humans are so unpredictable in battle. You do not always choose most logical action. You choose based on these feelings. Sometimes feelings lead to better choices than logic, Marcus said. Perhaps, Velthari said. Her skin showed colors Marcus hadn't seen before. Lighter, warmer hues. I find myself experiencing something strange since you arrived. When I think of young ones you saved, I feel grateful. Is this correct word? Marcus smiled. Yes, that's the right word. Gratitude is a good feeling. It is inefficient feeling, Velthari said. But not unpleasant. Suddenly the ship's alarms began ringing again. A crew member rushed into the memory room and spoke rapidly to Velthari in their own language. Her skin immediately turned bright red with orange flashes. Extreme danger colors. What's wrong? Marcus asked. Velthari turned to him with skin colors that showed fear and determination mixed together. Both human and Zephyrian fleets have found us, she said, and they are not here to negotiate. The command center of Velthari's ship was full of activity. Crew members with forearms worked at controls that looked like flowing water made of light. In the center, a large display showed the space around them. Marcus could see the dots representing enemy ships getting closer. Report, Velthari commanded as she entered. Her skin had turned to command colors, deep purple with silver edges. Ship mother, one crew member said, his skin flashing nervous yellow. 12 human vessels approach from Galactic North. 8 Zephyrian warships approach from Galactic South. Both groups demand we stop and surrender the human prisoner. Marcus looked at the display. 20 ships against 1. Those were not good odds. Have either group attempted communication? Velthari asked. Yes, ship mother. The human fleet is commanded by Admiral Sarah Chen. She demands the immediate release of Sergeant Marcus Chen, who she identifies as her brother. Marcus felt his heart jump. Sarah was here. His sister commanded the human fleet. She had come for him personally, but that also made everything more dangerous. Sarah would take big risks to save him. What of our own forces? Velthari continued. Fleet Commander Zelthok leads the Zephyrian ships. He orders you to surrender the prisoner for interrogation and execution. He says you have been contaminated by human influence and must return for mind cleansing. Velthari's skin flashed angry red for a moment, then returned to command purple. Open communication with both fleets, she ordered. 2 screens appeared in the air above them. On one, Marcus saw a woman in a human naval uniform. She had the same dark hair and serious eyes as Marcus. This was his sister Sarah. On the other screen was a Zephyrian commander with skin that stayed bright red. This was clearly an angry alien who didn't want to talk. Release my brother immediately, Sarah said without any greeting. You have 10 minutes before we open fire. At the same time, the alien commander spoke through his translator. Ship Mother Velthari, you will surrender the human prisoner and return to base for disciplinary action. You have dishonored your family and your fleet. Velthari looked at both screens calmly. Admiral Chen, your brother saved the lives of Zephyrian young ones under my protection. According to ancient law, he is now family to me. I cannot surrender family members to be harmed. Commander Zelthok, I have committed no dishonor. I follow the Velnathi law, which is older than current military regulations. This human has earned protection through his sacrifice. Sarah's face showed confusion. What are you talking about? What law? The Zephyrian commander's skin got even redder. Velnathi law does not apply to enemy species. You have lost your mind, ship mother. Surrender now or face the consequences. The law says one who saves blood family, Velthari replied. It does not specify species. The humans saved young ones I had accepted as family. The law is clear. Marcus stepped forward so both screens could see him. Sarah, I'm okay. This alien saved my life. Her people aren't all bad. Marcus. Sarah's voice was full of emotion. We're getting you out of there. Commander Chen. The alien commander interrupted. Your brother contaminated ship mother Velthari with human weakness. She is no longer reliable. We will take the human and cleanse her mind of your influence. Marcus saw Sarah's expression change. As a military commander, she understood the implications. The aliens weren't just threatening him. They were threatening Velthari too. And if we refuse both of your demands? Velthari asked. Both commanders spoke at the same time. Then you'll be destroyed as enemies of humanity, Sarah said. Then you'll be destroyed as traitors to the Zephyrian Empire, Zelthok said. Velthari turned off the communications. In the sudden quiet, Marcus could hear the humming of the ship's engines and the nervous breathing of the crew. "Ship mother," one crew member said quietly. "What are your orders?" Velthari looked around the command center. Every eye was on her. Her own people were scared and confused. They had followed her for years, but this situation was beyond anything they had trained for. Marcus realized the impossible position Velthari was in. If she gave him to the humans, her own people would execute her for breaking ancient law. If she gave him to the Zephyrians, they would execute him and possibly her too. If she fought both fleets, her ship would be destroyed and everyone would die. "I have an idea," Marcus said quietly to Velthari, "but you won't like it." She looked at him with curious skin colors. "Let me surrender to both fleets," Marcus continued. "Tell them I escaped and you couldn't stop me. You'll be in trouble, but maybe not executed." Velthari's skin flashed through several colors rapidly. "This would solve nothing. Both fleets would still fight for possession of you, and I would still owe you Velnathi debt. Letting you sacrifice yourself would only add to my dishonor. Then what do we do?" Before Velthari could answer, new alarms started ringing. The tactical display showed the human and Zephyrian fleets moving closer to each other. Warning shots were being fired between the two groups. "Ship mother," the communications officer called out. "Both fleets are preparing for battle with each other. They seem to think the other group is allied with us." Marcus watched in horror as the display showed both fleets forming battle formations. They weren't just after Velthari's ship anymore. They were preparing to fight each other for the right to capture him. "This is my fault," Marcus said. "I started a war by saving those children." "No," Velthari said firmly. "You prevented war by showing another way as possible. Watch." She moved to the ship's main controls. Her skin turned to determination colors, solid purple with gold edges. "All crew members prepare for emergency maneuvers," she announced. "We are going to attempt something that has never been tried before." "What are you doing?" Marcus asked. Velthari's skin began showing colors Marcus had never seen, complex patterns that seemed to shift and flow like living art. "I am choosing," she said. "For first time in my life, I am choosing action based on feeling instead of logic." Her 4 hands moved over the controls rapidly. The ship began to turn and accelerate. "Ship mother," the weapons officer called out. "Where are we going?" "Between them," Velthari said. "We are going to fly directly between both fleets." The entire crew made sounds of shock and fear. Marcus felt his heart racing. Flying between 2 hostile fleets was incredibly dangerous. "Why?" he asked. Velthari looked at him with skin colors that seemed to glow with inner light. "Because you taught me that sometimes the right choice is not the logical choice," she said. "And because family protects family no matter the cost." The ship shook as it accelerated toward the space between the 2 fleets. On the display, Marcus could see both groups of ships turning their weapons toward Velthari's ship. They had maybe 60 seconds before 20 ships opened fire on them. Velthari's ship flew straight between the 2 fleets. Energy weapons from both sides lit up the space around them. Blue bolts from Zephyrian ships and red beams from human ships crossed paths in a deadly light show. But none of them hit Velthari's ship. "They're not trying to destroy us," Marcus realized. "They're warning shots." "Both sides want you alive," Velthari said as she guided her ship through the crossfire. "They cannot risk killing you." The ship reached the exact center point between the 2 fleets and stopped. Now human ships surrounded them on one side and Zephyrian ships on the other. They were trapped but safe for the moment. "Open communications to both fleets," Velthari ordered. "All frequencies." The screen showed both his sister Sarah and Commander Zelthok again. Both looked angry and confused. "What are you doing?" Sarah demanded. "Get out of there before someone makes a mistake." "Ship Mother Velthari," Zelthok said through his translator. "You have put yourself in an impossible position. Surrender now and accept punishment with honor." Velthari stood straight and tall. Her skin showed the most beautiful colors Marcus had ever seen, flowing patterns of gold, silver, and deep blue. "I call upon ancient law," she announced. "I invoke the right of sanctuary." Both fleet commanders looked confused. Marcus had never heard of this law either. "What is the right of sanctuary?" Sarah asked. Velthari's skin continued showing the beautiful flowing patterns. In ancient times, when 2 Zephyrian families had conflict, a third family could claim sanctuary for someone caught between them. The person seeking sanctuary could not be harmed until all parties agreed on a solution. "That's Zephyrian law," Zelthok protested. "It doesn't apply to humans." It applies to family members, Velthari replied. And I have declared this human to be family through Velnathi bond. Marcus stepped forward so both screens could see him clearly. I have something to say, he announced. Both fleet commanders waited. I didn't save those alien children to start a war or to create political problems, Marcus began. I saved them because it was the right thing to do. They were innocent children in danger. He looked directly at his sister on the screen. Sarah, I know you came here to rescue me. I love you for that. But look what's happened. We have 20 warships ready to fight because I did something good. Does that make sense? Sarah's expression softened slightly, but she still looked determined. Marcus, these aliens are our enemies. Not all of them, Marcus replied. Velthari saved my life. Her crew has treated me with respect. Some of her people have been kind to me. If I can see good in them, maybe there's hope for peace. He turned to address the Zephyrian commander. Commander Zelthok, your shipmother Velthari is a good leader. She followed ancient law to protect someone who helped her family. Isn't following ancient law honorable in your culture? Zelthok's skin flashed several colors. Following law is honorable, but extending family bonds to enemy species is unprecedented. Maybe it's time for some things to be unprecedented, Marcus said. Velthari moved to stand beside Marcus. I have proposal for both fleets, she announced. Both commanders waited to hear what she had to say. Let my ship become neutral territory, Velthari continued. Neither human nor Zephyrian. A place where both species can meet and talk instead of fight. Marcus has shown me that humans are not just warriors. Perhaps humans can learn that Zephyrians are not just enemies. That's impossible, Zelthok said immediately. You cannot declare independence from the Empire. Ancient law allows it, Velthari replied. When a ship captain takes responsibility for protecting family from both sides of a conflict, she can claim neutral status until the conflict is resolved. Sarah looked thoughtful. And what would this accomplish? Marcus felt an idea forming. It could be the beginning of peace talks. A place where humans and Zephyrians can learn to understand each other. One human cannot represent your entire species, Zelthok argued. No, Sarah said slowly, but he could be a start. Marcus was surprised. His sister was actually considering this idea. Think about it, Sarah continued, addressing both screens. We've been fighting this war for 3 years. Millions have died on both sides. And for what? Resources that we could probably share if we weren't spending them all on weapons. Zelthok's skin went through several color changes. The human admiral speaks of sharing. This is not human nature as we understand it. Maybe you don't understand human nature as well as you think, Sarah replied. My brother risked his life to save your children. That tells me there might be more to learn about both our species. Velthari's skin showed hopeful colors. Then you agree to sanctuary? Sarah was quiet for several long moments. Marcus could see her thinking hard about this decision. As a military commander, she had to consider many factors. I'll agree to a temporary sanctuary, Sarah finally said. But I want regular communication with my brother. And if this doesn't lead to real peace progress, the sanctuary ends. All eyes turned to Zelthok. His skin had been cycling through many colors as he considered the situation. This is highly irregular, he said finally. But Shipmother Velthari has followed ancient law correctly. I cannot deny properly invoked sanctuary. The Empire will observe this experiment. Marcus felt a wave of relief and excitement. It was working. Velthari's skin showed the most beautiful colors yet, complex patterns that seemed to dance with joy. Then it is agreed, she announced. This ship is now neutral territory. Marcus of the Humans is under sanctuary as family by choice. Both fleets may withdraw. Over the following days, both fleets gradually moved away from Velthari's ship, but they didn't go far. Ships from both sides established watching posts nearby. Marcus found himself in a strange new life. He was no longer a prisoner, but he wasn't free to leave either. He was something entirely new, the first human to be legally adopted into an alien family. Velthari's crew gradually got used to having him aboard. Some remained suspicious, but others became curious about human culture. Marcus started teaching them human games and stories. In return, they taught him about Zephyrian history and art. The most amazing change was in Velthari herself. As she learned about human emotions and ideas, her own personality seemed to grow and expand. Her skin showed new color combinations that her crew had never seen before. She started asking questions about beauty and creativity that went far beyond practical concerns. 3 months later, the first official peace delegation arrived. Representatives from both governments came aboard Velthari's ship for preliminary discussions. Marcus served as translator and cultural guide, helping both sides understand each other. The talks were difficult and sometimes broke down completely. But they kept trying, partly because Marcus and Velthari had shown that cooperation was possible. Marcus often stood in the observation deck, looking out at the stars. Velthari would join him there and they would talk about the future. "Do you think it will work?" Marcus asked one day. "Do you think our people can really learn to live in peace?" Velthari's skin showed thoughtful blue patterns mixed with hopeful gold ones. "I do not know if all humans and all Zephyrians can learn to live in peace," she said, "but I know that one human and one Zephyrian have learned to be family." "Perhaps that is enough to begin with," Marcus smiled. Outside the observation window, ships from both fleets could be seen in the distance, but they weren't pointing their weapons at each other anymore. They were just watching and waiting to see what happened next. And in the neutral space between them, a human and an alien continued working together to build something new, something that neither of their species had thought possible before. Sometimes, the most important changes begin with one person choosing to do the right thing, even when it doesn't make logical sense. Marcus had thrown his body over alien children to protect them from harm. That simple act of protection had created ripple effects that neither he nor Velthari could have predicted. Now they were family, two beings from different worlds working together to create a better future for both their peoples. It wasn't the ending anyone had expected, but it was the beginning of something much more important than either of them had dared to hope for. Peace was possible. They had proved it. Now they just had to help everyone else see it too.